Hi guys, welcome to Hoops Junction. Vladimir here. Today I would like to take out a time and I would like to thank Dr. Martin Luther King for all of his sacrifice for civil rights. He is one of my major role models. The things that he did and the way that he was able to assemble people in peaceful protests and be an agent for change is forever inspiring. I don't think one day can thank him enough, but we try our best to remember him with that one day. And you have the Martin Luther King Memorial, which they redid in DC. I just want to, on behalf of Hoops Junction, definitely want to thank Dr. Martin Luther King for doing what he did and just walking the walk and talking the talk. I mean, some people talk a lot of stuff and they don't back it up. Martin Luther King backed it up. And he made a ton of sacrifices. A lot of people, they tend to forget. He was on the front lines. He was going to jail for protesting. He was getting beaten, for the color of his skin. He was getting death threats for his ideals. And he didn't flinch. And he tried his best to be not only create a change, but be the change that he wanted to see. And that's a great role model for our kids to live up to. And a lot of people feel like we're not there, but we've come a long way. You got to remember, 50, 60 years ago, there was still segregation. We had to use different water fountains from our peers. We had to have separate schools, separate places to use the bathroom. Now, if you look at the United States, it's a big melting pot with all kind of races, creeds, and, religions and things of that nature. So definitely got to thank him for it. But it's not just him. The thing is, what Martin Luther King did, he galvanized a nation to stop sweeping the inequalities under the rug and put it on the table and see how we can make changes. It's not just a I have a dream speech. It's a I have a dream lifestyle that he lived. He had the dream, but he lived the dream. He went to Congress. He preached to people on the roads. He was marching with other people, and he did it in a nonviolent fashion, which some people didn't agree with at the time. And some people thought it was foolish. How could you sit there and get beaten and broken down and spit on? But he took the approach that if you're not religious, pardon me, but he took the approach that Jesus took, where if they smack you, turn the other cheek so they can smack you on the other one. So, there's not more I can say about Dr. Martin Luther King. I want to thank him for everything that he sacrificed. I mean, think about this. Think about if you're his wife or if you're his child and you know that this man might not come home tonight because he might get killed for his ideals. And you had to grow up through that. And, you had other constituents of yours who they were with you, but at times they failed to see your vision. And that alone, I mean, it's just it's something to be revered, because you never know when it could be your last time. And he was living that day by day by day. They even put a bomb on his porch, blew up his house. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy. It's just a long ways to go, especially with the way that our new president has positioned himself, and just a lot of the racial divide, racial tension, police brutality with minorities and people violating the authorities violating civil rights. But we just have to take a moment and thank Dr. Martin Luther King. And it's not just a day to take off, it's a day to reflect. I like to watch his speech. I feel like every year just watching that speech and just reflecting on how things have changed and times have changed, and how I never had to deal with some of the things that my grandparents had to deal with. If you're not privy to what happened, or you haven't really done your history, why don't you ask somebody 60, 70 years old? They could tell you. They'll tell you like it was crazy. Even somebody that's 50s, they could tell you like the nation was very, very different. And Dr. King was the agent of change that brought massive change and sparked the inspiration for some of the civil rights that we have today. I would just like to thank Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you, Dr. King.